Good afternoon. This morning I woke up and I just had this urge to create. I knew it was time for sewing. So we're back from the farm where we visited our friends. Christmas, New Year came and gone. My kids went back to Thailand and the other one to Cape Town. So we're back home. And this morning as I woke up, I just had this urge to create, to get into my workspace, take out my machine and sew a night dress. So I bought this old vintage tablecloth a while back, many months ago. And when I saw it, I just said, you know what? I need a new nightgown, nightie. And that will be perfect. And I mean 10 Rand, $half piece of beautiful cotton. This is the thing I'm going to use. But I never got around to creating it. And this morning was the time. So after about 2 hours, I've been busy creating and cutting and sewing and putting it on and taking it off and sew and put it on. You know how it goes. I finally got kind of my end result, but I still have a lot to do to make it prettier. I've got the base. So how did I get here? I took my tablecloth, and then I used this nightgown that I created about 2 years ago. No, 4 years ago. And I just laid this onto the tablecloth and I cut out my new night dress. So you can see this one. It's just very sexy. Yes, I am not dead yet. So I love nice and cool dresses and nighties. And look at this one at the back. I had to loosen that, but I made a thing there at the back that you can tighten it. You can see it's broken. I need to mend it. But that's when I realized this one is actually now nearly, it had his lifetime. But I loved it. So that's why I took this one to use as a pattern for my new one. This was also a previous one I made. And I do use it when this one is actually in the wash. But this one, it wears more. It doesn't wear that easy. You know, when you make something like this dress that I'm wearing, it just wears so easy. And this night dress isn't really that easy to wear, fun to wear. You can see what I did here was I used 2 small vintage tablecloths, and I put them together to make the waist, bottom part, and then I used 2 pieces of serviettes as the top, and then a little piece of serviette for the back. But as I say, this is a little bit heavy. I don't know how to say it. So I thought, you know what, because what the reason is actually why this is, it's heavy, it's not cool enough. I have my slits and everything, but I didn't want to cut it because of the sides that's so beautiful. So I used it and I made some, to make it fit, I used some tucks and things that I put in. So this is one. But so as I said, today I used my favorite nightie, and this is what I got. So I'm not done yet, but it's together. So you can see how beautiful it's just like this. I made sure that I got this was the middle part. Isn't it gorgeous? So I made sure that I got that in, and then there you can see more flowers there at the bottom. So this made it actually a little bit more difficult to create, because then I didn't have enough for the back, so I had to make 2 halves. But what's awesome about this, there you can see, I just, instead of just having it there, a seam in the middle, I could tuck it like that. I still need to stitch that. And now it is actually sitting quite beautifully, because there you can see the tucks. So that is how I learn. I no longer use a pattern. I just go with the flow. And then I also had a thing what to use there. So first I bought lots and lots of braiding and things. You can see absolutely full to the brim with all types of things, ribbons and stuff at my charity shops that I visit. So many of them. So when I started with this, I was actually had to sort out all my things. I nearly didn't continue because it was such a crazy amount of stuff that I had to sort out. But I pressed through, and this is where I am now. So here you can see some beautiful things that I thought of using. You can see beautiful ribbon, crochet braiding and stuff. But it was a little bit, it wasn't enough. So here's a beautiful little piece that I nearly used, but it wasn't enough. So I decided, you know what, the sides of the piece of tablecloth that I didn't use, because that is what I also decided, I'm going to use this bottom part as my hem. So then I didn't need to put the hem in. I was using the tablecloth. So I had lots of hems left. So I used that for my top and back. Now look how easy it is. Because even though I love color and I love braiding and I love all of these things, I don't really enjoy wearing it. I love plain actually. So just this little bit of color there with this beautiful white cream cotton is actually exactly what I love. But there's always a but. Why is there always a but? If you use second-hand things, charity shop finds, then there's always a but. Then you need to improvise, you need to create. You know, that's what creating is. You use what you have to create what you love. So I'm busy with mine. So I knew it was very, very dirty. There were marks on that the woman couldn't get out at the charity shop. So that is why it was so cheap. So I knew that going in, making this. Plus what I also found, there's really some broken pieces, some holes and things. So now I'm sitting with a problem, not a problem, a challenge. I don't have problems anymore. I now have challenges. So I have this challenge, what to do with that. Because it actually looks like an iron mark. You know, in the old days, they warmed these irons. And it actually looked like a mark. So I don't know what I'm going to do. So now I'm actually at the point where I am deciding what to do with this dress further. As I said, it's now a dress, a night dress, but now what to do to make it a little bit more beautiful. So once again, I got my lappies out, as I always say in Afrikaans, all my vintage cloths, and I was looking and I was deciding. Just look at this beautiful, beautiful, it's not a serviette. What do you call this in English? That you use to blow your nose. But just look how absolutely gorgeous this is. Not a tissue. I've sewed a lot. I am kind of wasted. Very happy wasted, but still a little tired. So now I've lost my English. So, will I use this? I'm not sure. But I think I'm going to go for my doily, a nice white doily. Perhaps just here at the back. Or perhaps a doily on the on the yellow piece. Why not? I can put doilies. I can put my doily there on the yellow piece and another one here and make it kind of a pattern. So you see, this is what I love about sewing. I don't really enjoy the first part, but that's also fun when you don't use a pattern. So you need to improvise and you need to decide what to do. So that is actually very challenging. So I love that. But now to get to this part and now to see how can I make this more pretty. So I can use this when I start to put the doilies on. It will actually look very beautiful if I just add a little bit of braiding. It will just pick up the idea of the crochet doily. So this is where I am. I will, most probably when it's done and everything, I'll make a video to show you what exactly I did in order to finish it. So perhaps, I think what I will do is I will now stitch this, finish it, then I'll put it in the wash it very good and see perhaps if I can get the white out. The yellow out. If not, then I will use my doilies to cover it up. I also have the choice of my material paints. You know, I can not paint this, but dye this by using my material paints, by using my idea of, you remember the gemorslappie, if I use white and let's say a little bit of orange and make it a peachy color, yellowy color, I can make the whole thing kind of yellow or cream. Then that mark will fit in. So I have that choice also. Will I make it a yellowy creamy dress, night dress, or will I use my doilies? The thing is, I don't want a heavy thing. I really just want it as loose and airy as possible. So I must admit, I'm very, very happy with this far. What I've also learned, this is just a little tip. So I wanted it nice and loose around, but as soon as you do that, it hangs terribly. But then I've learned by doing this one, when you put your straps on and like this cross over at the back, it hangs beautifully, and then it doesn't matter if it's a little bit loose there in the middle, because it picks them up there. So with a nice and low cut dress like this one, ouch, you will see this is now the back. This is where I will have my straps. You can see it, it's very low, and because of this, you can see if you put it there, it's very nice and loose, and even if it does hang a little bit loose there at the back, it's still very beautiful. But when I put them here without overlapping the cross at the back, then it hangs not as nice. Then it's not right here and it's very loose. You can see this one that I'm wearing, just my strappy dress. This is fine because that is high up, but as soon as that is low, you have the problem of it doesn't fit very nicely. So once again, take a piece of cloth, take a vintage thing like that it was, as I said, next to nothing. It is beautiful material. It is nice and cool. If I made a mistake, so what? It's only $50, and I had so much fun creating this. So just buy a piece of, or take a cloth that you have, take a dress that you have, that you love, and just cut it off. Use this as a pattern to make another one, and just go with the flow, as I always say. Just go, just put it on. Cut a little piece off if it doesn't fit, do this here, do that there, and at the end you have something that you created that you really love. Is it from Zetster's Lab? Love you lots. And that I always say is, if I can, you can. And it's all about creating. What creating does to a person, it stills your mind so that you can hear and listen to the small voice of the life in you. And in that stillness, you know all is well. So fear flee, worries flee, depression flee, because you're still. And in stillness, the life in you can speak and you can hear, and then you will know all is well. With my soul, love you lots. Is it from Zetster's Lab?